Hey everybody, Bart the Nature Guy here. It is over the winter break right now, and I am taking a nice, I don't know if I'd really even call it a hike. I would call it a winter walk. I'm on kind of some groomed trails at a local state park called Wild River State Park. It's kind of on that border between Minnesota, where I'm standing right here, and right there's Wisconsin. So kind of over by Taylor's Falls area, just a little bit north. And the last week of classes, I just kind of took some questions, and students had asked their teachers to ask me about winter gear a little bit. And so I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of the winter gear that I tend to wear. I have kind of more my kind of heavier duty set, my nicer stuff that I wear out when I'm really thinking about getting outside. And so I figured I'd start. Just a fleece hat, number one. I like fleece. It allows my head to breathe. I tend to get pretty warm pretty fast. And so I wanted to definitely get a fleece hat on. But this jacket also has a giant hood on it. Goes way, way out like this. Should it get really nasty out, I can put that up. The downside is it can catch a lot of snow. So I make sure I fold it down and in when I'm walking, so that if I do need to put it up, I don't pile snow in the back of my neck, which is a pretty common thing that I've done many times, and I think a lot of people have probably done that with hoodies, standing outside, waiting for the bus to go to school, whatever it is, and you're kind of getting cold, and you flip it up, and you're like, it goes right down your back. So that's kind of this jacket. I also like it because I tend to get really warm, and it has vents on the side. So I don't know if you can see this. It's called an anorak style jacket. So it's kind of got a front pocket here. I like that too because when I wear gloves. And I need to work, whether it be for fire building, for putting up tents, or also just like helping my kids zip up their jackets. Oftentimes with gloves, I don't know what to do, so I end up like biting them, put it in my mouth. But these anorak jackets, since there's not a zipper all the way down, it has a big front pocket. I can take these gloves and load them in, and it really does hold a lot of gear right in here for me. So I like kind of that hands-free. I'll put dog leashes in here when I'm walking my pup, so really nice and easy. As far as the pants go, I wear something that has a little bit of water resistance. So I do wax these and put kind of a paraffin style wax on these, and then use a hairdryer and melt this in. So in weather like today, like obviously it's a little bit snowy, I can definitely keep my pants water resistant. They're not waterproof by any means. If it was raining or something like that, these are definitely going to start to soak in after a while. But in kind of light snow like this, where it's kind of brushing off the material versus sticking, like you can't really see it stick too much to my jacket here. This jacket is also waxed on the top, especially on the shoulders, where snow might accumulate. And then boots. I tend to wear pretty heavy duty. One of the questions is what kind of boots you wear. I tend to wear these kind of, I'll bring the camera down here. I tend to wear more like mountain style hiking boots that are pretty heavy duty. And have a really firm sole, so they don't bend that much. So if I get on a rock, it actually will hold the foot out quite a bit. So that's kind of the cold weather setup. I make sure I have wool, silk, or fleece on underneath, something good that's going to wick the moisture away from me. A lot of people talk about itchy wool. Wool does not itchy anymore in the way that it used to be, especially with a type of wool called merino wool. There's still great silk, kind of natural fiber silk long underwear that are thin base layers that allow that moisture to wick away from yourself. And then underneath here I have a little puffy jacket. A lot of people wear them, but if those get wet, they can really soak in not too great. And some people don't like down. It has there's some ethics around it. I try to find ethically sourced down when I can, and there's a few brands. They tend to be a little bit more expensive, but that's a cost I'm willing to take on. And also the wool that's made in hats and mittens. You can also look for ethically sourced wool where animals are stressed as least as possible, both for geese and also for sheep. So if that's something that's interesting to you to check into, kind of those type of using of animal products, it's important. I wear leather boots as well, so those are all animal products. And I want to make sure that I'm using kind of the highest quality and also the most humanely used and created products that I can. As far as like being outside, I might have a small winter pack with me. It's going to have obviously water. We don't think about it out in the winter or time so much because it's cool and we're not sweating, but definitely bring some water. Make sure you have it. Even if I still have these around, like these little, from my kids being young, but they really do work great. The only thing is like little like Camelback style stuff sometimes can get frozen. But I'll bring a little water bottle on a short hike like what I'm taking today, just a few miles. I don't know what I'm doing, maybe like 4 miles or something. But and also I brought out a solo stove, which is like this cool little stove thing that I got for the holidays, and I'm super excited about it. So thank you to the family. And the solo stove is actually just a little pack like this, and you start a little fire right in the bottom there, and it has a little lid that flips around, and it allows you to put a pot or pan on the top. So that's super awesome. And I was gonna try to use it. I'm running a little short on time to get this thing rolling, and I can't put this back in my pack when it's all scorching hot. So the downside with something like this, you know, as far as like using like a little more campfire style solo stove, is number one, you have to make sure you have all the regulations around can you even make fires out in the western states. You know, building fires is kind of on the down, like just don't do it anymore, right? With all the forest fires that were out there, you got to be really, really careful. Gas stoves, the downside with little gas stoves, and when we get into backpacking in the next couple of weeks, I'll talk about the little gas stoves. It's a pressurized tank, and if it gets really cold, the pressure doesn't come out. If anybody's ever tried to use a lighter that just doesn't light because it's too cold and people are rubbing the lighters together trying to get the heat up to get the molecules to expand, that can happen to your gas stoves as well. So that's where something like this is really great. And you can also pack it away right away, where this you have to kind of wait for this thing to cool down, and you have to clean it out. And so there's pluses and minuses to both. So as we get into backpacking in the next couple of weeks, I'll give you a little bit of we'll kind of go through all the gear and the pluses and minuses of what style of things to bring. There's all sorts of different ways to go backpacking. Everybody has their personal preferences and kind of the reasons why they're going out there. And so we'll talk about in the next couple of weeks. As far as gear goes in the mittens, I tend to like mittens that have a little bit of a finger here. So you can try, it's kind of Yoda 3-finger style. That's what I call it. And the Yoda 3-finger style allows me to have my pinchers, which is really nice, especially for like zippers and stuff like that. If I'm ever ice fishing, I can use a finger like that as well. Or just helping around. I got, you know, putting the leash on the dog even, instead of having to take the whole mitten off, I can usually do it because I have that one finger available to me. If my hands get cold, I just ball them up, and I use hand warmers all the time. So if my hands get cold, I definitely use that. So that's kind of the gear I use in regards to being out here in this kind of cold, wet conditions. But loving the day out here. I hope you guys had a chance to get outside over the winter break, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you all soon. And we'll do some videos and some Google Classroom stuff and Google Meets around backpacking coming up. So take care. Bye, everybody. Bart the Nature Guy. Peace out. See ya.